Sir, may I start with the session? Hello? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our third session of MSW-17. Uh, this is Dr. Chabi Dubey, your instructor for the course. In the last two classes, we had discussed about the first and the second block of MSW-17, where we had discussed about the basic. In this class specifically, we will be dealing with the values in social work. Last two classes, we were dealing with the contemporary methods of social work, where we had taken up, different methods, including methods like methods that can be used apart from those which are there for the primary and the secondary methods like social casework, group work. So we were mostly studying those contemporary methods. The third block is actually talking about the values of professional social work. In this block, we will be dealing with the values of service and social justice. We will be dealing with the importance of human relationship as a value of social work. Also, how competence, integrity, and finally dignity and worth of the person. How these are considered as value of social work. So, in the third block, we will be dealing with this first part. So I will be just sharing my screen with you. So this is the third block where we start with the first part of the values of social work, professional social work. Here, we will first take the value of service, how service can be considered as an important value in social work. Here we will be dealing with the definition, concept, and history of service as a concept. We will be difficult. We will be dealing with how a service is considered as a value of social work, and also how principles. What are the basic principles of service and areas of service in social work? So we will be dealing with these broad concepts in this unit. Now, social work profession is basically to enhance the human well-being, and we help as social workers. We help to meet the basic human needs of all people, with particular attention given to the needs and empowerment of people who are vulnerable, oppressed, or who are living in the margins. Now, a defining feature of social work is the focus of the profession on individual well being in the social context and the well being of the society as a whole. Uh, Also, the mission of the social work profession is rooted in a set of core values, okay, and this can be identified in the Code of Ethics for Social Workers in the Indian context. And these relate to the values of service, the values of social justice, dignity and worth of the person, importance of human relationships, integrity, competence, patriotism, hard work, loyalty to profession, responsibility and commitment, cultural sensitivity, and finally the teachership. Now, the first concept is the concept of service. Service to others is one of the main values of social work. It can be considered as a main value of social work from which all others values they come out, they root out. Now, social workers they acknowledge that serving others is more important than serving the self-interest, and they have to put their needs before the needs. Put the need of the clients before their own needs. This can be quite difficult at times, and one may also have to seek the advice of a supervisor in order to deal with the personal issues that may arise here. The value of service means that as a professional social worker, we will be encouraged to volunteer some portion of our time or working on a pro bono basis. And this is as per the Code of Ethics. Now, the question comes about the history of service. How did this concept originate? How did it evolve? The majority of the personal social services are generally rendered on an individual basis to people who are unable, whether temporarily or permanently, to cope with the problems of everyday living. And recipients, including the families faced with, the loss of income, desertion, or illness, children, and many a times youth whose physical or moral welfare is at risk. Similarly, we have the elderly, the disabled, unemployed. All these people are generally considered to be at risk. So, services are directed towards preventing threats to the personal or family independence. Social services generally place a very high value on keeping families together in their local communities, organizing support from friends or neighbors when kinship ties are weak, and whenever required, services may also provide substitute forms of home life or residential care and play a key role in the area and control of the juvenile delinquents and other socially deviant groups, like it could be drug addicts, it could be alcohol abusers, etc. Now, how did the modern concept of service evolve? Now, in the advanced industrial societies and in the post industrial society, we find that the personal social services have always being considered as a mixed economy of welfare. So here it involves the statutory, it involves the voluntary and the private sectors of the welfare provision. Although generally the role of, we can say, the personal social services is crucial, they account for only a very small portion of the total welfare expenditures. And most of the time, we will find that the substantial increases in expenditures have occurred in social security systems, which provide assistance to the specific categories of claimants on the basis of both universal and selective criteria. So, the development of the modern social security systems from the 1880s reflect not only a gradual but also a fundamental change in the aims and scope of social policy, but also a dramatic shift in expert and political popular opinion. Sorry. Now, how did the service in India came up? Service to humanity is definitely considered to be a moral obligation since we are members of the society. So we have to learn to live in a society and also live in cooperation with other members of the society. So we earn our livelihood in the society. Society also provides us with protection of life and property. Also provides us with so many services, so many fulfill so many requirements. Service is always considered to be a way of giving back to a society a portion of what one has taken from it. So generally, it is considered to be giving a portion back to the society, considering what we have been uh, you know um, what we have been taking from it so for such a long time. Now there are a lot of problems that exist in the society known as the social problems. And all of these social problems, they demand the value of service. So it's not just a word of doing something for others, but it goes beyond the horizons of this word only. Service is aimed at using the hearts along with the minds in several of the endeavors that a person initiates. And service is based on the ideal of brotherhood of man. So basically saying that everyone is linked to each other as a family. It's a natural impulse to help men in distress or any other person that we know of in distress. It cannot be rendered without an element of self-sacrifice. One has to spend time and energy to for it. Um, Throughout the successive phases, we will find that human society has have always been blessed with people who have provided services in several forms. So like it could be Florence Nightingale, it could be Madame Curie, it could be Mother Teresa. All of these people have devoted a part of their life or major part of their life to the service of the society. And we will find that not only that, we will find that there have been so many people who have risked not only who have risked everything that they had from their even their life to provide services to the people. Um you will see such examples not only in not only abroad but also in other very you can say that even in India, where you will find people like Vinoba Bhave, Anna Hazare, then you have the Daya Bhai, Sunita Krishnan, Kailash Satyarthi. These are all examples of people who have been giving their services to the cause of some social, to some social cause, or who have been actually, um, working on the eradication of certain social problem all these years. Now, this is basically social services aim to provide meaningful opportunities for social and economic growth. And many a times we will find that this service, it refers to programs which is made available to individuals. It could be made available to families or to group of individuals or even to the community, depending upon the client that we are serving. Now, the concept of service is both in terms of physical as well as attitudinal aspect. So, the value of service is being included among children from primary school days in India. And there were certain we will find that apart from this, there are several organizations who have made it their motto to actually provide services to the people in some form or the other. For example, we have the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, which is generally provided National Service Scheme, or the NSS, which also looks into the matters of involving students with service related activities. And now we will find that the mindset for services can be found in people at every stages. Like people may in several forms they may give their services in the form of doing small acts of charity or expression of concern. It could be walking a second mile with those in need, extending support in whatever ways that they can. Okay, then the code of ethics of some of the National Association of Social Workers, it also expects the professional to basically to set aside or provide um, okay. National Association of Social Workers also expect the professional to set aside or provide a portion of their services or voluntarily or free of cost. For example, several professionals do not charge clients. You will see that you will find such cases where the professionals, they do not charge their clients. Um, Now, service is not just confined to words of charity towards the disabled or helpless or the poverty stricken, but also to help those who are affected mentally, emotionally, and also uh, those who are actually affected by some or the other problems that they are facing in life. Now, we also know that service is the primary objective of social work, and there have been different connotations and contexts of social work practice. Like the value of service is just demonstrated with other values of social work, namely social justice, dignity, and worth of the person. Whether we talk about integrity, whether we talk about competence, rural cultural sensitivity, hard work, loyalty to profession, patriotism, all these are the basic values of social work that is required. So, this we find that social workers, they provide their services to the needy or to the people who are living in the margins with their professional code of ethics, and by administering the um, professional skills, methods, and techniques which are guided by the principles and values of the profession. Now, after this, we come to the concept of principles of the service of humanity, principles of service to humanity. Now, in professional practice, we will find that in professional practice, we will find that the social workers, they balance uh, individual needs and rights and professions with collective interest in the service of humanity. Now, the first is the social workers place the needs of others. Okay, um, above their self-interest when acting in a professional capacity. The second principle of service to humanity is that the social workers, they strive to the use of power and authority vested in them as the professionals in responsible ways, uh, that serves the needs of the clients as well as the promotion of the social justice. Now, after that, we come to the third principle of service of humanity, and that is the third. I'm sorry. So the third principle is a social workers. They promote individual development and the pursuit of individual goals as well as the development of a just society. So they would be promoting individual development along with the pursuit of individual goals. And lastly, social workers, they use their skills and knowledge in bringing about their resolutions to conflict and in assisting uh, those who are affected by the conflicts. So this was all about the principles of the service. Here, we will see in this part, we will see how the practice of social work profession, is considered as a service provider. How a social worker is considered as a service provider. So, see here, we will understand from this diagram that the social workers, they undergo their uh, integration of theory or thought into their thinking, into their thought process. So it's basically what uh, whatever things, whatever theories, or whatever you may say thoughts that the here the theory or the thought, this is what is being given to the social worker, as in the social workers, they are trained in the theories, whatever learning that they are having, that they are putting into practice. So whatever theories we are learning, whatever principles or theory we are actually learning, we are learning, we are then learning from practices. Okay, so we will go to the field, we will practice cultivating okay, these things into our day to day life. Okay, then we will, after once we have understood this, we are going to take actions. So we will be taking action. We will decide that okay, we have to, we will be taking that we would have to basically put this thing into action. Okay, so we will put this practice into action. Then we will apply this theory to whatever we want to practice. Okay, and then this application further improvises our theory. So this is how the process of you know s- this is how the process of uh, you know s- the social work and practice of social work profession. After this concept of how theory is integrated into practice, and finally how this practice further improvises our theory, we will go to what are the areas of service. So there are a couple of areas in social work which may be considered as areas of service for the social workers. First is the area of aging. Okay. Now, the skills related to working with individuals or families or say groups and communities, which would include assessment and counseling and in planning, research, all are needed to providing the services to the elder persons. This is basically, we will find that aging is one area or what we known as gerontological social work, which gets a lot of help from the services that is provided by the social worker. Now, a lot of time there are a couple of services that the elderly they require, whether it refers to confirms to their day-to-day activity, carrying out day-to-day activity, working as a health provider or a health care or caretaker of the of the elderly. They also require a lot of issues in which they have to undergo certain psychosocial counseling, like maybe issues related to bereavement, issues related to loss, issues related to their health and preparation for death. These are some of the central issues where a lot of counseling and a lot of other services needs to be provided to the aging population. Now, typical settings here include the hospitals. It includes um, hospices, counseling services, senior centers, old age homes, case management with local departments, nursing homes, and generally the range of clients would include persons over 60 years of age, and services to them is also focused on helping persons in the caretaking role of the aging relatives. And what are the intervention that can be planned here is basically we will be taking care of the assessment, discharge planning, crisis intervention, advocacy, brokering work, then collaborating, planning, administration, community organization. All of these things we would be carrying out with the aging population. Then we come to the child welfare, generally talking about children who are in need of care and protection, or children even in conflict with the law. These two categories of children are the ones who require services of the social workers, and they have to focus on a lot of areas relating to their living arrangements, their care, the providing them with basic requirements, fulfilling their basic requirements of education, home, safety, and food, clothing, all of these things. So basically, it's all about improving the overall well-being of children and youth and their families. So children settings here may involve children in their own home. They could be in daycare, in foster care, in orphanages, adoption centers, okay, or it could be residential care, even in juvenile homes, or all of these can be required, including the protective and the preventive services of the children. Then the range of clients would include the children and youth, their parents, and the guardians. And the intervention modalities would be intervention planning, assessment, and treatment planning, then crisis intervention, family group work, therapy, counseling, advocacy, collateral work with ancillary agencies. Okay, it could be related to research or educational and training programs. All of these are some of the interventions that would be required with the children. Then we have the criminal justice or the correction. Here is basically the focus is on working uh, with individuals in who have actually carried out some illegal activities or any kind of showing any kind of a deviant behavior or criminal tendency. Then we have to provide a number of services which are generally would be relevant to the prison inmates. Generally the typical settings are the criminal courts or jails, probation or the community based services, etc. And the range of clients would be basically those who are involved in you know high risk behaviors or other criminal justice system. So that's a range of clients that we will be dealing with. And the interventions or modalities depending upon uh, the, the students year in the program and their concentration, they would be given things like assessment, maybe crisis intervention or individual. So all of these would be some of the services that would be giving to the um, these are some of the you may say services or some of the other modalities that we would be carrying out in terms of assessment, crisis intervention, individual, group work, family work. It could also be some kind of interdisciplinary collaboration, could be community organizing, program development, and other development research available in some settings. After this, we come to the next area, that is the drug and the alcohol addictive behaviors. Now, this is definitely one of the very important concern because this is not only one of the largest cause of death and spread of HIV infection, but also it also creates a lot of family. It creates a lot of family concerns. It creates lot of uh, issues related to um, you know uh, issues related to law and order situation, deviant behaviors, and all that. Settings would basically be treatment centers. It could be such programs which are focusing on rescue and rehabilitation of such people, eating disorder units, and the like. Then, mostly the range of clients would be persons who are suffering from addictions and also including their families. The kind of intervention that we would be giving to the client uh, that would uh, uh, basically involve that would basically would involve assessment, training, planning, treatment planning, sorry, individual, family, and group work. Then it would be individual, family, and group work, educational services, or series development planning, etc. And these are some of the um, interventions or modalities that we will be looking into. Next comes the education or the school social work. Now, we know that generally education and school social work is another important field in which we can carry out in which we carry out our services as school social social workers. Now, traditionally, this field of practice is carried out in partnership with schools, where they are setting in response to the realization that emotional factors they often impede learning. So we have to definitely look into the various problems faced by students. Okay, specifically focus around you know compulsory school attendance, adjustment to the classroom. Then we would also be giving more broadly, we would be requiring developmental tasks and adjustments, like providing interventions in these areas. Special education components within the school settings, they have basically focused on social work intervention with the population. So, school social work is yet to, get ground in India. It still is not. You may say it's still not considered to be a very uh, uh, widely practiced services, but generally you know that when you come around, like in India, although it has not started in a in a full form, but you will say that a lot of states, they have become very you know they have become very uh, you may say that they have become a very uh, um, you know maybe what can we say, we may say that they have uh, uh, become very proactive in providing school social services, psychotherapeutic counseling, not only to students but also to their parents, if they are facing any kind of issue related to the client. There have been a number of states also which have uh, you know, included this services, school social work services in their settings. So generally, we would be looking at schools. We will be looking at alternative high schools or preschool settings, etc. Then the range of clients, of course, it's children, youth, and their families, and the main intervention modalities would be the intervention modalities would be um, like assessment, crisis intervention. It could be group work, individual work. It could be something like um, prevention training, peer mediation, program development, etc. So all of these, including things like mediation, program development, grant writing, and program evaluation. Okay, all of these are the different modalities that can be seen when we are dealing with the um, when we are dealing with the services in the school or education sector. Then we of course have the family services, which include mostly on strengthening the family ties or the family life. So a number of counseling or education addressing issues of personal and family growth and development. So family services are definitely required. Now, the settings here are definitely family agencies, YMCA, YMHA, or neighborhood or community centers, and the clients would include the family members, adults, or children. It could be, they would be carrying out this in a range of direction. For example, adults to children in need of family member. Okay, like anyone who's a family member. It could be adults or children in need of family support services. Any agencies, they often contracted to serve the clients. And interventions which are generally utilized is counseling, assessment, and networking, individual, family, and group counseling, program planning. All of these would be the so this would be all about the intervention in the intervention in the family area. After the family services, we come to the healthcare or the public health. Now, healthcare is something where a lot of emphasis needs to be given, not only because of the the nature of seriousness, but also to the fact that a large number of population in India and in some other developing countries are soon going to be above, um, in the senescence population, like in the aging population. So definitely, we would require greater web of, healthcare, so that the people may be able to, benefit from that net. And uh, apart from that, we also know that healthcare is by far one of the most important and widely used area that is required, widely used service area that is there. Then typical settings would include hospitals, agencies. It could be health agencies, it could be um, like health centers, public health agencies. These are the settings. Nursing homes, hospitals, hospices. Clients would range from people suffering from acute till and chronic illnesses. Then the settings, we have already seen range of clients. We have seen basically anybody who is suffering from any kind of disorder or an illness or any kind of a thing. So the intervention modalities would be the crisis theory here, the short term and the brief focus counseling, assessment, networking, interdisciplinary collaboration. All of these would be certain modalities and interventions that would be required for. Um, Now, uh, next is related to homelessness. Now, homelessness is definitely a very growing problem. It's a very pressing problem, specifically for a larger number of people living in the urban areas. They The typical settings would be, people living in the in houses which may be known as shelters, people living in welfare hotels or housing. Okay, then all of these would be. Then we come to the role of range of clients. Homelessness, the homeless and their families or persons eligible for Section 8 services and or emergency housing. And uh, okay, after this we come to the mental retardation or developmental disability. Generally, a large number of services are also required for such individuals. Okay, which are provided um to this. population by other disciplines with social work, okay, who are offering supportive counseling to the individual care or the guardian. Service may be based within the school or agency settings or in the client's home. Typical setting would be the inpatient and outpatient facilities. Then we will also be looking into the maybe residential facilities, school-based services. At times, there may be a lot of students who may be suffering from some or the other kind of uh, you know learning disabilities. So it could be schools, it could be mental asylums, so many other places where these services may be required. Range of clients would be individuals suffering from cerebral palsy, the Down syndrome. So then we come to the interventions of the modalities. So here would be crisis theory, short and longer term counseling. It could be assessment, networking, collaborating, or team approach. So this marks us to the end of sorry. This marks us to the end of the mental retardation or any the services that would be required here. Next, we come to the student community development. Now, this is a specialization within the School of Social Work which trains students for work in settings of higher education. And this program requirements are described as a school bulletin. And it defines a campus as a community or a community with needs and social problems like any social movement. Sorry, Here, this is basically what is known as it defines a campus as community. The student community development concept. This defines, a community, a campus as a community, and a community. They say it comes with certain needs and social problems, like any social environment. The social workers they are trained to offer interventions on an individual group or a community level in this approach. So education settings or institutions of higher educations, students who are there placed within campus or counseling centers. Then a range of clients would be all those who compromise the campus community, who comprise the campus community. And then finally, the intervention utilized would be problems, planning and implementation. Then after that, research, education, and around uh, prevention issues regarding the date rape, violence, and other campus community concerns. So generally, those concerns that are related to the college-going students or university-going students, even things like stress, performance stress, suicides, and violence, and so many other things. That would be the intervention utilized. Next community that we come is that of the women, who are basically now women definitely these are one of the one of the most um, you may say that individuals or community which is often the most uh, you know um, people who have the least social status in any society, and because of their lower social status they have to suffer a lot of maybe uh, deprivations. They may have to face a lot of other problems that they may be facing. But generally, the typical settings for such women would be women's, centers. It could be county offices for women's services, could be victims of programs serving victims of domestic violence and other OJNE. Uh, it could be NGOs. It could be um, domestic programs serving victims of domestic violence. Then programs for pregnant teens, for women's services. All of these are the uh, typical settings where these services can be used. Clients would be definitely women and their children, and intervention utilized would be uh, uh, the interventions utilized here would be short term and long term. Then we come to counseling programs for women, protection, providing them with protection, community organization work, a lot of other programs which are basically meant to improve the overall condition of women. So it could be community outreach, it could be preventive education, advocacy, and after women, we come to this youth. Now, this services are designed to meet the um, special needs of this population, often geared to uh, these often focus on educationally oriented recreation, could be handicrafts and sports activities. Okay, so basically the settings would involve youth bureaus, YMCA, YWCA, community or youth centers, emergency shelters, suicide prevention programs, drop-in training programs. And the range of clients here would be focusing on youth, on their families, on you know any other stakeholders that would be involved with working with the youth. Now, interventions utilized would be long-term and long-term and short-term counseling, crisis um, uh, assessment, networking, regions, individual, family, and group counseling, program planning, community organization, and the then it would be assessment, networking, individual, family, and group counseling, program planning, community outreach, preventive education, advocacy, and research. All of these would be the basic interventions utilized. Now, this was all about service. Next topic that we would be covering would be social justice as a value of social work. Now, what exactly is meant by social justice? Social justice may be defined as, you know, a question of what is basically it's a justice for, with for the people. It is justice for it is you may say social justice is an area which is partly covered by law, rest is covered by social and potential political ideas and practices. Now this involves giving each person his due, continues to be an important part of a present day um, you know understanding of justice. So, justice in ancient times was associated with dharma, and Plato, like in Republic, he discusses the meaning of justice and whether the just man is happier than the unjust man. Now, Socrates, for example, he held the concept of justice as not just doing good to our friends and harm to our enemies, but it's a way in which human rights are manifested in the everyday lives of the society. Normally, social justice at times is equated with the notion of equality and equal opportunity. And although they are definitely both a part of social justice, but the concept is much broader than just this. Um, Now, this concept is a very revolutionary concept which provides meaning and significance to the life, and it makes the rule of law dynamic. And the idea of a welfare state, it cannot be uh, achieved until and unless we have social justice provided to each and every section of the population. Okay. Till and until that time, our so until and unless this social justice is being provided to each and every individual, our concept of after this we come to the nature of social justice. Now, the nature of social justice, we may say that first of all is it believes in removing all inequalities and affording equal opportunities to all citizens, irrespective of their origin, irrespective of their religious and other affiliations. Now, the problem of we know that poverty and inequality is definitely a very big problem in India. Also, access to basic resources, then these are some of the problems which are considered to be very, central to the India. The Constitution of India and social justice, one how they are actually related. Now, the Constitution of India, it provides for promoting social justice, and it gives believes in social, economic, and political liberty of thought and expression, faith, economic. Uh, Now, here we will find that the Constitution has attempted to, uh, you know, the Constitution of India. It actually talks about, providing these social justice in so many of the articles. Like Article 19, it guarantees that every citizen has, 7 different kinds of freedoms, and it also recognizes them as their fundamental rights. 23 and 24, it provides for the 23rd and 24th article. They also provide for fundamental right against exploitation. Now, then 23 and 24 are fundamental rights which are against exploitation, that any kind of exploitation of any individual is prohibited. Article 14 prevents um, working of a child in any factory or a mine. 31 makes a specific provision in regard to the fundamental right of the property. Okay. And 38 requires that banks should make an effort to promote the welfare of the people. You also have 41, 42, and other articles alike, which are 16 is basically it allows it provides provision for the resolution of appointment of a post in favor of any backward classes of citizens. And 17, it makes untouchability a punishable offense. So all of these, uh, articles in the Constitution, they have provided for basically doing away with the social injustices that are prevalent in the society. Now we know that the NASW, that's the National Association of Social Workers, they have given a code of ethics, and they say that social workers should engage in social and political action that seeks to ensure that all people have equal access to the resources. Most here we can say that code of ethics for social workers, it um, uh, it states that social workers should engage in social and political action that seeks to ensure that all people have equal access to the resources, opportunities like employment, services, and access to resources, etc., in order to develop their full potential. There are certain general principles of social justice that we need to know. First is that um, treating equals equally requires that there is no discrimination on the grounds of class, caste, race, or gender. The second principle, it states that economic, social, and economic and social positions should be advantageous and open to all. And the third principle is that uh, society should take into account special needs of the people while distributing rewards and the duties. So these are the general principles of social justice. Other basic principles of social justice include the principle of human dignity, that every person has to be treated with respect, the principle of respect for human life, every life matters, and that every life needs to be protected, the principle of rights and responsibilities, that every individual has certain rights and responsibilities towards their society, towards their fellow being, the principle of common good, that is, social conditions allow people to reach their full human potential. Okay. And common good and consists of all the conditions of society and good secured by those conditions. Okay. Common good presupposes respect for persons and obligates people authorities to respect the fundamental human rights of each person. Next is a principle of priority for the poor and the vulnerable, which talks about that the masses or the population who are living below the poverty line and who are vulnerable, They must be given priority when providing with services. Principle of solidarity is that despite our differences, we are one human family. We are one member of the society, and we all need to cooperate together in order to, in order to keep the society functioning properly. Principle of stewardship, it says that we need to protect and value of all people, all resources on our planet, and it's also that the personal property is recognized. These rights are not unconditional and are secondary to the best interest of the common. Uh, okay. Now it is important because it says the stewardship of. Next, we come to the principle of subsidiary. Principle of subsidiary says that governance structures and all level settings have an imperative role to, promote human dignity, protect human rights, and build the common good. So, while the principle of in the principle of participation, it talks about participation in all the matters of the society. Principle of promotion of peace is promoting peace and reducing conflict in every situation. Expression of social justice as a value of social work. Now, we know that social justice is a very important value of social work, and it is important because it includes fair and equal distribution of resources for a person's basic social needs, creation and observance of guaranteed equal opportunities. Then creating an observance of guaranteed equal opportunities of using the potential of the state and public sector, public social services, maintenance of equal rights and opportunities of their realization at the reference and protection. um sorry, maintenance of equal rights and opportunities for their realization at the reference and protection according to the law. Now, the Russian code has also given certain value of social justice in the context of social workers by saying that social educators reveal and adequately react to social conditions, okay, which result in social contradictions, difficulties, and sufferings of people. Second, observing social justice and distributing uh, social resources on equal rights basis can carry out social pedagogical work. Thirdly, conducting active work, improving the activities of social institutions, political structures, certain political instruments, conducting the active work, improving the activities of social institutes, political structures, convincing the client that their actions are not dictated by biases against someone, also conducting the practical work which is directed on development of the client's opportunities, and also, first of all, developing, first of all, then also developing the volunteers' participation among the people in improving the social work processes. Apart from this, number of countries, have come up with their own version of this. But the fact remains that social work is Now, one thing is important here to understand that social value of social justice is very important because it guides the social workers for their anti-oppressive and anti-discriminative efforts to fight against the discrimination which is meted out to people belonging to different, you know, um, groups like ethnicity or caste or race or class or language, sexual orientation, place of residence, age, etc. So they need to empower the individuals, they need to empower the groups or families, and fight for the social justice. This is also true for taking care of specifically the marginalized population, including women, including the elderly, the children, or people who are differently abled, and certain such a lot. So they have to ensure that they are also benefiting from the various programs and policies that the government has come up for them, and making full utilization of these services. There are certain 10 principles according to the NASW Code of Ethics related to social work for social justice. First is the human dignity. Next is dignity of work and the rights of workers, rights and responsibilities of basically people towards the society per se. Stewardship, we have already discussed this. Priority for the poor and the vulnerable, giving them priority. Principle of governance, and principle of subsidiarity. That means that having a good governance system, a good leadership to the people, then participation of each and every individual, promotion of peace. Now, at all levels, social work strive towards social justice by providing direct services, through community organizing, by supervising, consultation, by administration, by advocating on the behalf of clients, by providing social and political action, by policy development and implementation, by education, and finally research and evaluation. So basically, we will find that at every level, be it the micro level, meso level, or at the macro level, this is required, service is required. And also, these principles are articulated with very many faith based traditions also, which include human dignity, community, and um, common good, rights and responsibilities, and all of these aspects. After this, we come to the next chapter, that is importance of human relationship as a value of social work. So we know that definitely interpersonal relationship between individuals is one of the most important factor, and we use this interpersonal relationship very much when we work as a social worker, not only at the individual level but also at the uh, uh, you know group level, or even at the community level, when we will be dealing with providing them services, various services to our clients. But relationship here does not mean personal relationship. The relationship that we talk about here is the professional relationship that we develop with the client. That is, we are using our skills to provide services to the clients, and the clients, we use our relationship with the client consciously to provide them with the services, and also helping them provide solutions for their own problems. Now, relationship can be defined as the feeling of sense of emotional bonding with one another. So, as human beings, we develop these bonding with other members of the group, or with the members of our family, with members of the community, and these relationships, they give us a sense of warmth and comfort. They give us a sense of security. They nurture our emotions, and they also have many other dimensions and facets, which they keep on growing, they keep on changing and, and evolving over a period of time. So thus these relationships, they become very important in actually the profession of social work. Now, what are the various characteristics of relationships? When we say that the conscious, purposive, and a deliberate effort to develop a helping relationship between a social worker and the client, it would characterize by a purpose and concern for the client system, certain expectations where the client will be expecting certain things from us, developing empathy and clear communication with the client, having genuineness and acceptance towards the client, and authority. So, first of all, that there will always be a purpose and concern when the client is involved. That we know that we all our relationship that we build with the client, that would be with a purpose, and that would be concerned with solving the problems of the client. Second is what is known as expectations. Expectations would be that the client will be having certain expectations from the social worker, that the social worker will be guiding him or her, would be providing them with the informed choices, would be basically facilitating the problem solving process. Empathy is basically feeling with and into another person, being able to into his or her shoes. So basically we need to understand how that person would be feeling or is feeling, to understand the depth of the feeling of the clients. Okay, so this is very much important if we need to actually understand what they are going through. Then definitely genuineness and acceptance, this is very important. We need to accept the client as he or she is. And finally, authority, since they are the one who are having the skills, they are the one who are having the knowledge, they would have an authority, and they can use their authority as a tool to help clients who need protective kind of services, and whose ego functioning is poor, like who are unable to make decisions for themselves. And what are the components of the relationship? It would be qualities of a positive relationship: responsiveness, politeness, considerate, being friendly, respectful, and honest. And qualities of a negative relationship would include impersonal relationship, inconsiderate, unfriendly. It may be, belittling, condescending, or critical, or rejecting. On the other hand, the positive client worker relationship are characterized by allowing the client to the right of self determination. Okay. Uh, Here we will allow the client the right to self determination, where we will be working with the client, show confidence in the client, believe in the client, and have a genuine interest in the client. Okay, by listening to them, and reflecting their feelings, providing them with their warmth, respect, and trust, not accepting any stereotypes, or not following any stereotypes, and responding to their needs, having a non-judgmental attitude towards them, being more compassionate and gentle to the clients. Now the relationship is a value of social work. So a relationship, definitely it becomes a value of the social work, because we are consciously using this relationship with the client that we have built over a period of time, this professional relationship, to to help the client in the problem solving processes. They should be at the same time they should be very careful to maintain healthy boundaries for effective practice of relationship with the clients. And also, they must always remain conscious of the professional role. They limit their personal disclosure, expectation, or extent, duration, and focus of the relationship. And there must be some terminal points to the engagements. Now, the principles of the importance of human relationship is recognizing the central importance of human relationships, understanding that relationships between and among people are also important vehicles for change, then engage people as partners in the helping process and strengthen relationships among people as a purposeful effort to promote, restore, maintain, enhance the well-being of individuals. Now, the Code of Ethics for Social Workers in India, they also give a number of principles, which are very much similar to those given by NASW. Now, after this, we come to the next unit in this block, which pertains to the dignity and worth of a person or an individual as a value in social work. So this means that every person has a place in the society, has respect, dignity, which is a foundational concept, and every individual must be, treated with the respect and dignity. And this was the ultimate value that was given coherence to in the Vienna Declaration of the 1993 World Human Rights Conference, where they have said that it you should needs to be used in the context of ethical, legal, and political discussion to signify that human beings, they have an inherent right to be valued and receive ethical treatment by the fellow beings. Now, human dignity is basically consists of human, uh, you know, qualifies it. Uh, it denotes distinction or honor or glory. Okay, so basically, every individual has an inherent value, has an inherent right, and an inherent respect, and people should be treated in that way. It is basically the quality or the state of being worthy, honored, or esteemed. And it may begin with, the Latin dignitas translated as worth. And the UN Charter refers to the dignity and worth as two synonyms of the same concept. It's a normative concept that at first glance it is merely intuitive, where people may recognize dignity only when the dignity is violated. But it does not define dignity per se, but firmly establishes it as a core value on which most other rights and obligations are based. Now, we understand that respect for the dignity and worth of a person is demonstrated by the basic courtesy when we are interacting with others, paying attention to whoever has the instructor's permission to speak in the classroom, refraining from behaviors which interfere with the learning process, okay, and always speaking and behaving in ways that show respect for others. And the principles of dignity and worth includes respecting the unique worth and inherent dignities, upholding person's right to self-determination, okay, and also respecting the diversity among individuals, respecting the client's rights to make their choices, okay, determines the child's ability to consent, and explain to the child wherever required the nature of the um, or the parents guardians nature of the social worker's relationship to the client, the right of the society to impose limitations on the self determination of individuals when such limitations protect individuals from self harm and from harming others. And finally, upholding the right of every person to be free from violence and threat of violence. So, these are some of the principles of dignity and worth. Violation of the human dignity and worth may come from humiliation, instrumentalization, or objectification, degradation, and dehumanization. Uh, then the expression of the value of dignity and worth of persons in social work would be understood from treating clients with respect, okay, providing person-centered service and support, then promoting self-determination of the clients, making them make choices, individualization, non-judgmental attitude, providing them with warmth, promoting good communication with the clients, avoiding different discrimination, promoting cultural sensitivity, then adopting a human rights based approach, promoting the uh, positive service ethos, and providing the training, supervision, and support, then addressing the environmental risks to dignity, following confidentiality. All these are some of the ways in which social workers can promote this concept. After this, we come to the concept of integrity as a value of social work. So, when we talk about integrity, it means wholeness, okay, like honesty and consistency of character. It may have other meanings also, like acting according to the values, beliefs, and principles that a person claims to hold. So this is a very important value when it comes to social work practice, because social workers they need to adhere to the principles of integrity and maintaining a high code of behavior, sticking to the trustworthiness, respectfulness, and having a sense of justice and fairness in them. So all of these also including honesty and integrity. Now, the members of the social work profession they need to apply knowledge and skills in ways that prioritize the needs of others over personal gain. They have responsibly use power and authority in ways that serve humanity. They may considered and ethically accountable professional decisions. They maintain a high quality of professional conduct and behave with dignity and responsibility, and ensure ongoing professional competence by participating and contributing to their own lifelong. And finally, learn, educate, train, and supervise other social work practitioners and students. So this is how members of the social work profession they would be allowing integrity. In broad way, we can say that integrity is defined as the moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, and honesty. So it's a personal choice and an uncompromising and predictably consistent commitment to honor moral, ethical, spiritual, and artistic values and principles. So it's basically doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Now, the integrity of the social work profession includes working towards the maintenance and promotion of high standards of practice, upholding the uh, and advancing the values, ethics, knowledge, and mission of the profession. Okay, enhancing and improving the integrity of the profession through Um, then also, social workers need to protect, enhance, and improve the dignity of the profession through appropriate study and research, active discussion, and responsible criticism of the profession. They need to contribute time and professional expertise to activities. Also, contribute to the knowledge base of the social work and share with the colleagues their knowledge related to practice, research, and ethics. And finally, prevent the unauthorized and unqualified practice of social work. Now, why is integrity important? Now, it is important for a number of reasons. First of all, living a life of integrity means that we never have to spend time or energy questioning ourselves. Okay. Secondly, it's important when we gain the trust of our leaders, our colleagues, and our um, team. After that, we come to the types of integrity. The first is the individual integrity when we're talking about the integrity held by an individual. Second is the organizational integrity, that is the integrity which is practiced by a body or a corporate or an organization. Third is professional integrity that is practiced in that particular profession. So, the basic professional integrity in a social work profession would involve maintaining reputation and values of social work, maintaining honesty in our work, keeping professional boundaries, being more thoughtful, balanced, and reasoning in our work. Also, maintaining accountability in our work, being accountable to the client. Now, how it is considered as a value of social work? Now, it is definitely considered as a value because social workers need to adhere to the ethical principles of integrity on maintaining a for maintaining a high code of behavior, need to be honest and trustworthy, respectful, and have a sense of justice and fairness. Then we come to the principles of integrity. First is upholding the values and reputation of the profession. Second is being trustworthy, maintaining professional boundaries. Then it is making considered professional judgments, being professionally accountable. Expressing values, expression of values as a social work, being honest to the work and to the colleagues and clients. Making mistakes is okay, but hiding them is not. So basically, coming out, speaking out, knowing what and when to talk and when not to talk. Leader integrity and ethics. Leaders that walk the talk. I mean, you have to basically carry out a delegation and assess the work, being open minded, with the team. And this brings us to the end of the concept of integrity. Next is the competence as a value of social work. Now, competence is basically maybe um, called as an observable and measurable knowledge and skills. Okay, so it is basically observable and measurable knowledge and skills. And second is the knowledge and skills must distinguish between superior or exemplary performers and other performers. So basically, it may be defined as a cluster or related knowledge, skills, and attitudes that reflect a major portion of one's job, that correlates with the performance on the job, that can be measured with well accepted standards and can be improved with training and development. So basically, the competence or competency, it could be skill based, it could be, you know, um, um, it could be behavior based. So these are the two types of competency. Now, what are the various principles of competence? The first is that the social workers uphold the right of clients to be offered the highest quality service possible. Second, they need to strive to maintain and increase their professional knowledge and skill. Third, they need to demonstrate due care for clients' interest and safety. Fourth is they need to contribute to the ongoing development of the profession and its ability to serve humanity where possible, and then to minimize the risks to the participants, ensure informed consent, maintaining confidentiality, and others. Now, basically, competence, commitment to competence is an ongoing endeavor, and competence, many times, it is seen as the key acronyms like C for communication, observation, mentor, prudent, empathy, time management, energetic, non-judgmental, critical analyzer, enthusiastic. So, a person who is competent is likely to have all these, qualities. Or need to carry out all these activities and have these qualities of being a good communicator, of observing, then of working, of behaving as a mentor, promoting, helping the or supervising the younger workers. Then, of course, being prudent and empathetic, managing time well, being energetic, having a non-judgmental attitude towards the workers as well as towards the client, needs to be a critical analyzer, needs to analyze the situation and the overall work, and enthusiastic, carry out work tasks with great enthusiasm. So all of these are very important, uh, you know characteristics that are required for a social worker. Now, there are core competencies that can be identified here. One is providing potential access to a wide variety of markets. Second is make a significant contribution to the perceived customer benefits of the end product. Difficult for competitors to imitate. However, for competence in social work, we will be, demonstrating the practice requirements, integrated social work values, acquired and applied knowledge, reflected upon and analyzed the practice and transferred knowledge, skills, and values in the practice. So, all of these would be we will be considering for social work. Then core competencies in social work that would be required is identify as a professional social worker and conduct one accordingly. Apply the social work ethical principles to guide the professional practice. Third is applying the critical thinking to inform and communicate professional judgments. Also engaging diversity and difference in practice, advancing the human rights and social and economic justice, and engaging in research informed practice and practice informed research, applying knowledge of human behavior and the social environment, and using research in practice and practice in research, engaging in policy practice, responding to influential context, engaging, accessing, intervening, and evaluating. And so these are some of the things. And of course, engagement as social workers would require, you know, we need to engage as social workers and also carry out assessment as social workers and carry out intervention and also evaluation studies. Competency skills that we require are the problem solving skills, the social judgment skills, and the knowledge. And the competence models that we generally study is divided into three main groups. One is the core competency model, second is the leadership competencies, and third is the professional competencies. Core competencies include the personal skills that are required at all levels of leadership. Leadership competencies are the skills which are needed to drive the organization into the cutting edge of new technologies. Okay, like and the professional competencies for learning or what you can say training leaders would require the um, professional competencies, in terms of the special skills and knowledge that they acquire during their professional training. So this was all about different values in social work. This is the first part of our values, where we have talked about how different values, like values of competence, like values of considering the individual worth and dignity, then the social justice. All of these values are core to the values of social work. So this was the first part. Tomorrow again we will be meeting for MSW-17, and we will be carrying out with the last part of last block of our course, and we will be discussing some of the various values of social work, the second part of that, where we will be taking up all the more values, some other values also that are required, when we work as a social worker. So, thank you so much for joining me for this particular class, and looking forward to the next class. And see you all once again. Thank you so much. Have a great day.